In a world that constantly rewards noise, the loudest opinion, the quickest reply, the most visible reaction, silence can feel like weakness. We're taught to speak up, respond fast, and fill every gap in conversation. Yet across cultures, philosophies, and centuries, silence has quietly been recognized as one of the most powerful tools a person can master. It isn't the absence of strength, it's often the clearest sign of it. This piece explores what silence really means, why it holds so much power, and how learning to use it deliberately can change the way you think, communicate, and move through the world. The most common misunderstanding about silence is that it signals uncertainty or fear. In reality, choosing not to speak is often a far greater act of control than speaking impulsively. Anyone can react. Far fewer people can pause, absorb, and choose their next move deliberately. Restraint requires more discipline than expression does, because it means resisting the urge to fill a moment just because it feels uncomfortable. The people who seem most composed under pressure are rarely the ones who say the most, they're the ones who know when saying nothing serves them better. Words spoken in the heat of a moment are difficult to take back. Silence creates a buffer between a feeling and a reaction, and that buffer is where clarity lives. When you allow yourself even a few seconds of silence before responding, in an argument, a negotiation, or a difficult conversation, you give your mind time to separate emotion from judgment. Many regrets in communication come not from what people didn't say, but from what they said too quickly. Silence, used intentionally, protects you from your own impulsiveness. When you're not focused on what you're going to say next, you're free to actually hear what the other person is saying. Most conversations are a rehearsal of responses rather than genuine listening. One person waits for their turn to talk instead of absorbing what's being shared. Choosing silence, even briefly, shifts your attention outward. It allows you to notice tone, hesitation, and meaning beneath the words, details that are often more revealing than the words themselves. People consistently open up more to those who listen well than to those who talk well. There's an old saying that those who speak the least often know the most, because they are absorbing information rather than giving it away. Every time you speak, especially in negotiations, conflicts, or competitive situations, you reveal something, an intention, a weakness, a reaction. Silence, by contrast, reveals nothing. It keeps your position, your thoughts, and your next move unknown to others. This isn't about being secretive for its own sake, it's about recognizing that not everything needs to be said in the moment it's felt, and that some of your greatest advantages come from what you choose to withhold. Paradoxically, silence often draws more attention than constant talking does. In meetings, conversations, and public settings, the person who speaks least, but speaks with intention when they do, is often listened to more closely than the person who talks constantly. Words lose weight when they're used carelessly or excessively. When silence becomes your default and speech becomes deliberate, what you do say carries more meaning, because people learn that you don't speak without purpose. Beyond communication, silence plays a deeper role in personal composure. Sitting with silence, whether through quiet reflection, meditation, or simply resisting the urge to fill every quiet moment with noise or distraction, builds a kind of internal steadiness. Constant external noise, whether from conversation, media, or notifications, keeps the mind reactive. Regular moments of intentional silence allow the mind to settle, process emotions, and return to situations with a clearer, calmer perspective. This isn't about withdrawing from life, it's about strengthening your ability to respond instead of react. The secret of silence isn't about staying quiet at all times, it's about choosing when silence serves you and when speech does. Silence used as avoidance, punishment, or fear becomes its own problem, creating distance and misunderstanding rather than strength. The goal isn't permanent quiet, but intentional quiet, knowing that not every thought needs to be spoken immediately, not every provocation deserves a response, and not every silence needs to be filled. True mastery of silence includes recognizing the moments where honest, direct words are exactly what's needed, and having the courage to use them without hesitation. Like any skill, silence can be practiced deliberately. Pausing for 3 seconds before responding in conversation, spending a few minutes each day in quiet reflection without screens or distractions, or simply resisting the urge to immediately react to criticism are all small, low-cost ways to build this skill. Over time, these small practices compound into a noticeably calmer, more deliberate way of moving through conflict, conversation, and decision-making. The goal isn't to say less out of fear, but to say less out of choice, and to make what you do say count. The secret of silence isn't mystical, it's simply the recognition that not every thought deserves immediate expression, and not every moment requires a response. Silence gives you time to think, protects you from impulsive words, sharpens your listening, and often commands more respect than constant talking ever could. It isn't about withdrawing from the world or hiding behind quiet. It's about choosing your words with intention and letting silence do the work that noise never could. In the end, those who master silence rarely need to prove their strength through words at all. Their presence, patience, and restraint speak clearly enough on their own.